Ladies and gents, welcome. We've got to play all three here. And in the first round, Daniel, player who came up to Platinum from Gold, is looking to stay here. He won 2-1, and he was playing insanely well. Here he is, and he's up against a player he'll know very well in Yo. Yo, in his first round, won 3-0. And the map is Socotra. This is our starting map. This is our neutral map, and it's already going to get a little crazy here. A little lamey, perhaps, as Yo has brought his villager forward. And Yo runs right into the TC fire from Daniel. I guess he didn't know it was there exactly. And Daniel actually, I think initially would have been a little frustrated with how things had gone. He's not going to be too disappointed. Now, unless, okay, Daniel, you got to take your elephant. Why are we not prioritizing our elephant over everything in this game? Yeah. Yo's going to steal his elephant. Okay, well, I mean, Socotra rule number 1 is take your elephant immediately. And Daniel didn't do that. It was in the front of his base. He scouted the back first. So that's 400 food that will go over to Yo. And Goth Hunt now lasts longer as well. So that'll be even more than 400 food for Yo, not to mention his own elephant. Amazing start for Yo here in this series. So normally I have a lot of other things to talk about, and I can break it down, and we have time. Haven't had as much time here, but I will just say Daniel is confident against Yo. But, you know, this could potentially ruin the mood a little bit. A couple of his ostrich got shot down. I think it's worth it to still go out here and take them, especially since you've lost the elephant. You just have to. There's only one elephant on the map. You have to take this hunt and then mill here and just hope for the best. But I predicted that Daniel will get a win against Yo today. I do think Yo will win the series 2-1. And Yo, he played super clean against Lix. I do, however, think that Daniel, he's going to bring another level than compared to Lix. Lix has actually maybe been the most disappointing player thus far in Platinum for me. Knew he would struggle, but it hasn't looked like the preparation is there. But yeah, the number one thing you should do on this map before pushing any ostrich, in my opinion, and the ostrich for Yo are even a little bit here on the backside, which is going to be convenient for him, but number one thing has to be find your elephant. Bring that in right away. Most players bring it in first thing. Didn't happen here for Daniel. You know against Goths as well, the Goths are going to bring the forward villager because they do kill hunt faster, but also because of the instant loom bonus that players tend to use here on Socotra. So yeah, berries will be forward for Yo, and Daniel is going to try and steal this ostrich in the only way that he knows how. He is going to try and bring this food home the entire way across the map. It is a small map, but respect to you, Daniel, for this attempt. Yo sees this. He was like, wait a second. We're not going to allow this. Daniel, don't push it in towards his TC. Daniel, what are you doing? Oh, God. What have you done? Well, you could kind of see what he was going for there. Anyways, amazing start for Yo. Like, honestly, the dream start of Socotra. Daniel hasn't walled in anything. He hasn't killed anything. Yo has every little bit of food he could ever ask for. And Malay advanced faster to the next age. But I think there will be a concern for Daniel in will he have the resources when he's there. Probably a situation where he honestly might need to drop like 2 farms or 3 farms. The nice thing, though, is advancing fast to the next stage allows you to catch up. So you could probably go up to, like, 24 vills here if you felt it was necessary. He's certainly looking at it right now. He's done a good job considering the start. He's got all the food he can. It feels like the eco balance is decent. But I'm worried that when he finishes this goat here, he might not have the food he wants to click up here. And I would assume this turns into an archer battle. Yo might try something else. Yo, honestly, with all this food, could easily go into skirmishers, in all honesty. Well, there's the barracks for Daniel. You notice the food count's a little light here for Daniel. I still think he's okay, though. He just clicks up. Honestly, very well done. Sorry about the glowing villagers, by the way. Just capture age things. I don't know why they're glowing today. It's a Monday morning, and they're ready to go. They're excited. And Daniel's going to just make some militia here. Yeah, this will probably be just 2 militia into archers. I do not see how he's going to be able to afford to get the man-at-arm upgrade. He also won't be able to afford to really get eco upgrades. Yo being a little bit hesitant to scout things because he knows his scout is weaker. He does not want to lose that. And here comes Daniel. Daniel has his eyes fixated on the berries here. Yo, very late with the barracks, guys. He almost had too much on food, but he's got plenty on wood. That'll eventually spike. He does not know the militia are coming. Now, because the scout is weak, it's not able to block in the same way. Like, so Yo could just fight back if he wishes to. Yo just chooses to fall back here for a second. And Yo going to drop his own towers. Really thinking about the location of this tower. Great micro from Daniel. You can see the aggression already. And this is I really like the tower from Daniel. I'm really curious on if he is going to be able to take stone behind this. He does kill Yo's scout now. And like Yo will probably end up taking this down. So it's a good counter tower from Yo. Because what Yo will try and accomplish with this is 5 villagers inside the tower and then a bunch of villagers underneath this tower. But look how annoying Daniel's been. Honestly, to micro underneath the opponent's tower like this for so long is insane. And he's just hoping that his tower is going to weaken the villagers from Yo. And I mean, it did. Actually, now you send some of those villagers out. You send the wrong ones. Daniel might be in a good position. Behind this, Daniel adding the archery range, and so is Yo. But Daniel now has the scout. And he can think, you know, this stone, the only accessible stone for Yo, that could be an area where he'll try and focus his push. Now, Daniel has not gone to stone himself. There is some stone back here, though, if he wishes to. For Yo, obviously, you know, no berries right now. We'll see what his food eco looks like in the long run. Obviously, still has had the goats, though. And Yo's going to have enough stone for another tower here pretty quickly. So, archer opening for Daniel. Again, no wood upgrade, no farm upgrade. All these things Yo's gone for. And Yo's just going directly into skirms. And because this scout is weak, I do not feel like Daniel's going to have the best of times trying to engage anywhere near the front of Yo's base with archers. Looks like there was a pause. I'm actually slightly behind live time because I wanted to like introduce things properly at the start and get a couple things sorted. But yeah, there's Yo. He didn't know it was skirms. He was probably hoping it was archers. And Daniel now finds out the hard way that it was skirmishers. And so now for Daniel, he might be thinking about eventually a stable to add some scouts here. And there's the stable. Feels like the natural play. It looks like he maybe doesn't feel like he has the food to go scouts just yet, and he's going to go for his own skirm. So that's actually an interesting strategy choice there. I feel like in this moment, Yo could move forward and just try and tower a forward position. Just try and deny some resources from Daniel. Interesting he's chosen not to this far. Oh, well, here he comes. It just feels like an invitation. And Daniel, you know, he figures he can't break me right now. I've got all my res back here. So I'm going to go sneak and counterattack. Now, if Yo sees this, actually Daniel might hop on the tower. That's exactly what he does. So those archers are going to shoot down that tower. But now, the front of your base is going to be towered if you're Daniel. There's not really too much you can do about it. You just kind of have to let that tower go up. It will mean that you have to delete this farm and move away from here. I think it's worth it eventually for Daniel to go to stone as well, in all honesty. I'm a little surprised he hasn't considered doing that. But he wants a lot of food eco right now. So he's prioritizing food and wood eco. More farms equals faster castle age, right? There's the mining camp on stone. Because this might lead to more towers from Yo, which could be problematic. Overall, though, I thought it would be worse for Daniel, right? I think we need to applaud him a little bit. Like, this could have been way worse. Sure, in some ways, the Malay have a tendency to bail you out of bad positions, but he's been extremely annoying with this tower. Forcing reactions out of Yo. The only thing I could really say is being late to stone. If he was on stone earlier. Like, players like Daniel, they think villagers on stone are villagers that aren't on farms, are villagers that aren't going to take me to castle age for crossbow. Like, that's kind of his mindset. And Yo is kind of the other way around. Yo thinks I'm completely fine with going to stone with a couple of vills because then I can, you know, take map control, and map control is more important in the long run. So Yo, in theory, you know, it might have a later castle age on average. And Daniel gets his tower up though, so not too bad from him. But you know, Yo's tower has denied a farm here, has denied farms here, and now Daniel's adding more farms. All the farms for Yo are working right now. He's got 14 of them with horse collar. So Yo's food economy is pretty ridiculous. And he's just making skirms. And Daniel, He's hoping, praying maybe, that he's going to find an opportunity with his archers. Now, this is kind of funny. You do have 4 villagers inside of this tower versus 3 archers and a villager. So there's less idle time there for Daniel. Yo's actually had more idle time. And now, this tower is going to get battered down. Yo moved away with his army. And the counter tower there from Daniel's very well played. Daniel could maybe hop out with this army and try and snipe those villagers. He does know that Yo's skirmishers are out of position right now. This is surprising. I mean, Yo's pathing all the way over here. Yo's going right towards this army. And he's got to bring his own army back here. And yeah, I think he realizes, go ahead, try and kill me. Why don't you? Because my skirmishers are here now. So timing was a little awkward. Daniel gets over here now. Yo hasn't full walled this whole area. Had to go for a bit of damage control. Ultimately, though, he's in a good spot. He does have fully upgraded skirmishers for feudal age. Daniel going to shoot this tower down. Daniel going to do the same over on this side, but it is Yo with full control over the game right now with the Goths. He's the one forcing all the reactions from his opponent at the moment. Now, anytime you have the melee involved, you do need to remember, even if they're later to the next stage, they can recover. And against the Goths, especially when both players have been on stone, if we see unique unit play, I think Karambit Warriors should do pretty well against the Huskarls. So Daniel's food eco is pretty expansive. He will eventually take down the Yo's tower here. I mean, I don't know if they're going to have the stone 4 castles, by the way, just because of how much stone they're investing in the towers. Does Yo know? Okay, Yo knows about that stone. And Yo will know Socotra well, and Yo will know that the other stone is really important. You get 4 tiles of stone per player, but it's kind of split up. Daniel adding the market now to balance out his eco. Drops a counter tower. And here, Daniel can't really do too much with this army. If he goes here, there's a tower. This is open, though. Like, this is open in the back. Yo doesn't know it. But Daniel's just going to assume that's walled up. Because, like, it's Yo. You would expect Yo to make sure he gets those walls down. All right, so both players definitely going to think about Castle Age at the moment. For Daniel, he's actually deceivingly close. He just continues to queue up 5 villagers at a time. So Yo is on the way up. There's lots of ranged units. It would make sense for the Goth player to maybe consider Huskarls. Yo's had really good eco this game. It's looked really clean. Daniel will not have stone income. I would love to see a stable, though, for cheap elephants here. I think that actually could do a lot more on Socotra than maybe a more open map where the lack of mobility for the elephants is a problem. It's Daniel, though, so he's probably just going to want to go crossbow and siege. And here, Daniel defends nicely. The eco KD is 1-1. Remember, the elephant KD was 2-0 for Yo. It's a stupid way of recapping what happened in Dark Age, but Yo should have had a massive lead. And Yo loses villager there. Sneaky move from Daniel. I really like it. Yo also has a stable, so Yo thinking about knights originally as the opening, which actually does mean that Daniel's situation of having lots of archers is going to be nice. So, I mean, elephant crossbow against skirm knight, I think it could go either way. Daniel does need to make sure that he re-walls this, though. He just ran out with those archers, killed the vills, came back in. I'm seeing that hole. I'm thinking he might forget about it. Here's Daniel in the next stage. Yo's going to have vision on this because of the house. And that is a lot of skirmishers there. And Yo did not hesitate to try and dive here to get kills. Actually lost the skirmisher, though. Great micro from Daniel. And Yo, oh boy, he's going to try and drop a forward castle here. It feels like if Daniel had an elephant right away, that maybe this whole thing could be denied. But this is classic Yo, right? And it's so important on Socotra. Forward castles, forward positions. You can tell Daniel's thinking, I need to deny this castle. If this castle goes up, I will lose this game. I cannot allow it to go up. I will lose the stone. I will lose the gold. He dives now with his crossbows. He should go for the vills. There's an elephant on the way. Yo's castle's at 60%. This could easily be denied. Yo did house wall there, which makes it awkward for Daniel to run around. And Daniel's crossbowmen are going down. Oh, man, it just felt like for a moment there, if Daniel would have continued to use his crossbowman against the Vills, he would have actually denied it. He brought his own Vills just to have a little bit more to try and stop this. But that's going to go up, guys. Meaning Daniel needs to back away. Meanwhile, the Mangonel, not sure how valuable it would even be at this point because a lot of the skirmishers died, but that gets sniped, and that was expensive. And so calculated risk perhaps from Yo. And Daniel now could be up against Huskarls as well. So now you're melee, and you're up against Huskarls. You don't have access to stone yourself. The only thing you realistically, on paper, can make that's strong here would be the cheap elephants. And Yo's going to be able to make monks for that. So I think it's really tough. Like, I think at this point in the game, Daniel would actually need some type of a counterattack. And Yo's going to see him the whole way through. Really nice play there from Yo. Risky, though. Risky. Like, I think he should have sent 3 or 4 more villagers there. But I think he was fairly confident it was going to go up, which is why he didn't send as many. Second TC for Daniel to expand a little bit onto another gold. If only Daniel knew that this was open. Like, just a knight running back there would make Yo's life so difficult. Yo's got really nice vision on what's happening on the map. He knows there's a siege workshop. Daniel walls this way so units can't easily run into his eco. Still think you should try it every once in a while if you're Yo. Both players will have monks, and Daniel actually has more monks. And yet again, I have to say, well played from Daniel to stay alive. Like, this is why I said that I think Daniel can definitely get a win against Yo today. Like, he's playing amazing. Nice attack round there with the Mangonel. I'm actually surprised the Mangonel hit. Hits again, though. Yo dives. And in doing so, gives up some knights to conversions here. But I think when you have your own monks, you're not going to be too upset about the situation here. That Daniel is going to convert a skirm. Yeah, because Yo has his own monks, he could, in theory, just convert the knights back. So it's not that big of a deal. It's something to be concerned about in the long run, though. Yo needing to building block here as Daniel tries to click through. Again, there is a gaping hole in the back. And we're going to see Daniel drop a barracks. Did he delete his other barracks? I think he deleted his other barracks to run forward near the castle, right? That kind of sucks. Because he expects light cav, maybe even sees light cav, and needs spearmen now. So he's going to add some spears here, but Daniel's going to run through into the back. Yo doesn't exactly have a TC here. It feels like a great moment for a panic TC. Daniel's going to run right through. That is not going to scare Daniel in the slightest. He's behind. He knows he needs damage. And here he goes. He's going to lose one knight. Okay, he's brought the monks in. And here come the light cav. And, I mean, a conversion had started on a villager, so there's a world where maybe there's a conversion, but very well played. Light cav investment pays off from Yo. And he should just keep it going here, right? Kind of hard for him to get in towards these monks, but the monks are there, and the light cav get the snipes, and Yo just so perfect here. And now the knights come out to clear everything up. That was epic. Like, that 30 to 40 second window was so sick from Yo. Such good control in this game. Light cav for the monks. Then you can advance forward with the knights. You'd clear up all the siege, and obviously this game would be over from here. Yo would then even have the next step prepped, where he'd have his own monks for all the knights and elephants that Daniel has. I do think that Daniel struggled more in this game than he should have early, because he didn't get the early elephant. That is like rule number 1 on Socotra. Before you do anything else, just bring in your elephant. It's not far away. He just didn't really scout for it. If you look at what he did, he tried to push in an ostrich, right? Yeah, okay, pushing in an ostrich is fantastic because these things might be shot down. But you know what's better than getting 140 food? Getting 400 food, and then denying that from the opponent. That's just... I have to be super critical that you wouldn't look for the elephant first. He was probably hoping he could have the best of both worlds and the elephant would be on the back. He took a risk. It did not pay off at all. And Yo takes the first game. Excited to see what Daniel will have on his home map, though. I think he still looked really sharp in this game. All right, guys. So this is interesting. This is the second time we have seen this generation in Spiral in like 15 or 20 games, I think. This is the exact generation we saw in the Draken Veleza series. We didn't make any changes to Spiral. It's just that sometimes Spiral can generate in a slightly different way. So I'm curious on how experienced these guys are. They should know that the berries are super close, and Daniel already encountered that because he broke the cow and the sheep out. You should know that if he's here, or the berries are here, rather, that the fish is going to be rather far away. Yo wants to go for an early dock here. He's gone for Lithuanians. Lithuanians starting with extra food, so on any map where you can dock, players will go to the wood early. And here comes Yo, making that long journey to dock. It's funny, initially I felt when I saw it in the other series, this nerfs the dock, right? This hurts the player who's going to dock. And it's better to then just prioritize land. But what ended up happening was one player just prioritized land because the berries and the deer were really close. And then the other player went for docks on both sides. And at the conclusion of that game, we were left thinking it's bad to still not dock. Now, I think where it can help Daniel here is if he scouts Yo. I mean, he could have maybe killed that villager, but he didn't find it. If he scouts where Yo is docked, and this will be confusing for him because he just checked this and didn't see anything. So he's going to check the other shoreline. He might then think that Yo doesn't dock at all because he hasn't seen anything. But I think what Byzantines are really good at here is killing the enemy fish. Oh, wow. Actually, we have... Oh, they're going to go for the same side. Ooh. Ooh, okay. That's interesting. Well, they'll find out pretty quickly. I think that's advantage Byzantines then. At least in feudal age. Are the colors switched? Oh, God, the colors are switched. Okay, we're switching it back. We're switching it back. We're switching it back. Daniel's in blue and Yo's in red. I'm sorry. I didn't even realize. I made it confusing for everyone. In case you were already used to it, the change, I just made it confusing for you. If you were confused initially because the colors weren't the same as the first game, you're now less confused. Sorry, my bad. So yeah, what I've seen from Byzantines is just open defensively on land. So typically players are going to go scouts, so you just play spears. And then the real offensive presence you're going to have will eventually be on water. That would be if he notices this. That's going to be a deer push into the TC for Daniel. I like it. Every little bit of food counts. You can see how Yo's setting up his base already. Remember, though, 2 tiles of stone, 2 tiles of gold at each player's base. So, the rest of the gold is going to be spread out throughout. Normally, you go to the sides for TCs and these little rings. Both players will have those available. I think Daniel's got a little bit of confusion. He might have just spotted Yo. And they're now sharing fish, so I think both players will realize. Yo actually went for 4 fishing ships, which I feel is a lot. 3 is what most players have gone for. I know it's just 1, but to me, it feels a little weird to have gone for 4. He might lack the wood for the barracks, based on what I've seen with some of these builds. Okay, so Yo isn't going to make a mining camp here, most likely. I think he's just going to walk back and forth to get enough gold to make a couple fires. Daniel will probably do the same. Yeah, Daniel's already prepped to do that. They'll both definitely make a fire galley. And if that happens, then advantage Byzantines, because Byzantines have the faster working fires. Both players have the 2 villagers here. So the 2 villagers can help repair. 2 villagers can help fight. Like right there, Daniel was thinking about fighting that off. Yo will add his barracks near all of this, interestingly enough. And Daniel goes for the more standard approach of barracks near the main base. I feel like the base barracks position, it's not bad per se, but I feel like it could make life awkward at home later on. Yo is a more full wall player. Make the buildings at home type player, so I'm a little surprised to see that. And honestly, like, you're killing someone's fish. Like, yeah, you should make a fire galley or 2. Because, controlling the pond's nice. But it's not like this is 4 lakes. I don't think they've really thought about how little fish is going to be left here. Yo, trying to deny the barracks here from Daniel. I think Daniel's fine. Daniel's happy to trade that HP. He's like, good. My barracks is delayed? Sure, whatever. Yeah, what is it? Like, There's there's gonna be 40 food left, guys. Well, I wonder if they could play this a little bit like Four Lakes then and have a villager go over here to dock, right? I think that would have been really smart. But I think it's because, I mean, there's no fish to fight over except for 182 food in the shorefish, 200 food on a shorefish. I find it hard to believe that all this stuff matters as much, but they're going to fight for it. You repair those fishing ships, you're not going to be able to do much with, buddy. But advantage Daniel thus far. I think even though there's been no kills, Daniel's been taking the better of the engagements. Fire Galley's been doing a really good job here. Daniel needs to pull back and repair, though. Daniel doesn't repair just yet. Did kill the scout. And meanwhile, Yo is spear rushing fish, which, again, are really going to have very little value in the long run. I could just see Yo having some problems in the long run here due to having the forward buildings like this. Like, I think if counterattacks for Daniel could be really strong. And look at this. Daniel's done a really nice job thus far with his micro and his repairing. Killing spearmen. Keeping his fires alive. Byzantine fires, right? There's just standard Lithuanian fires. Daniel does still need to repair this one now. He kills that fire galley. He's now attacking the skirmisher. And Daniel maybe has given up on repairing intentionally here. I'm not entirely sure. I'm going to assume no. But he really wants to just buy time to kill a villager here with that scout. He's going to get one. He could get two. Nah, you've got to run away from that one there. So yeah, look at this. Now, Daniel hadn't fully scouted this. This is why, right? Well, no, he did. So that's just a really bad dock. He could dock here. I think he wants to be sneaky because he thinks Yo would already be there. Yo is going to drop a mill in the middle of the berries. Daniel already did that. And Daniel getting horse collar now as players plan for life on farms mainly. Daniel has his own skirms. And he's currently counterattacking with 3 skirmishers and a weak scout. It's a skirm war right now, so I think eventually then you've got to think this is going to be... Like, this has got to be all about scouts. Now, Yo scouted the shoreline with a spearman. Daniel hasn't noticed that he's been spotted yet. And Yo also waltzed over here with that weak vill to dock here. So both players are competing for that area. This very awkward counterattacking army. Honestly, I think it might be valuable to just kill the deer. But I guess since, you know, Yo's not taking them, maybe not. We've got speedy Lithuanian spearmen, speedy Lithuanian skirms, and then it's cheap spearmen and cheap skirms. It's a trash war. But there's, you know, armies everywhere. There's Yo. Finally completes his dock, so advantage to him in that regard. But then here, you know, this is extremely messy. Honestly, who's farming? Daniel's farming. I think this is good for Daniel. I think the farming thing with a game this messy is going to add up over time. Obviously, though, there are still fishing ships for Yo, so let's just quickly look at it. I mean, Yo hasn't collected more food. He's just collected more wood and more gold, so who knows? And Daniel comes over here to now finish this dock. He has, of course, noticed that his opponent has docked here. Oh, no, he hasn't. Okay. It's been a really micro-intensive game with units that don't do a ton of damage. Advantage Daniel in that type of situation, in my opinion. Daniel is the better at micro between these two. Daniel's one of the best players with micro. It's kind of funny, though, to see the speed of the spearmen actually present a problem for skirmishers right now. Here comes a couple fire galleys. Here comes a couple fire galleys. So, yeah, they're going to compete over this space. But again, for food eco, you've got the berries... And then you've got the deer. And then you've got the farms. And Yo's probably going to farm a little bit as well. I'm surprised he hasn't, actually. It seems like he's a little bit late to that. This has got to be annoying for Daniel, though, to consistently see all these new units from Yo show up on his berries. And Yo actually going to tower his berries, where he only has 4 villagers. If these were archers, obviously the villagers are dead. I wonder if Daniel sits underneath this tower. Just camps underneath it. Yeah, I like that. I think it's a good decision from Daniel. I want to check res collected again. Res collected, Yo's still ahead. It's just because he's got so much more on wood, I guess. But Yo's not exactly spending that wood, right? It's not like he's investing that. Yo is floating 800 resources at the moment. I think, you know, he could balance that out, obviously. Make use of that with the market, maybe. But I think Daniel's done a really good job this game, spending his res. He's got tons of vills in queue. Look at that. He says, you've got speedy skirms? Well, run away, fool. Run away from me, then. I've got fletching. You do not. Just the villager here from Daniel needs to be careful. That's just one fishing ship reward and one shorefish reward for Yo in this pond. I think Daniel's done a couple things which have had me really impressed. The first thing was he farmed early. The second thing was he's had a lot of villagers on this, whereas Yo just went for 4, which I think on like a normal map, sure, the build order calls for 4. But here, I feel like having 7 or 8 there makes a lot of sense. And now he's actually going to walk forward. Like, he really wants to kill Yo quickly. And he's going to tower this. I don't know if this is necessary when Yo only has 4, actually. It's kind of funny how that works. Like, if Yo had 10, it would feel really strong. But certainly a little control over the food eco. And we know Yo's going to have some problems. Yo with a demo on skirmishers. Daniel, you should have known better, bud. Oh, my God. What a hit from Yo. And a frustrating moment for Daniel, who is on the receiving end of that. Guys, if your opponent has a dock and they're running away from your army and they take you near their dock, why do you think that is? There's a reason for that. Anyways, tower goes up for Daniel. And that hurts because he had the skirm advantage. And despite everything I said about how impressed I was with Daniel, blah, 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 Yo is consistent. And Yo will be up here soon. Both players are going to be up. Eco KD is 4-3. And res collected, Yo still had more. Food income obviously has benefited Daniel here. He clicks up to Castle H first. Also, nice job from Daniel, who will probably completely win this pond and then maybe add a fishing ship there. All right, so guys, Yo is obsessed with unique units. Just in case you weren't aware of that. He loves unique units. And he went on stone rather early for the tower, right? And so I think for now, he's going to plan on saving up some stone and dropping a castle. Really curious on where he drops the castle. If Daniel still had skirm control, the castle probably wouldn't go towards the middle. That'd be seen as too risky. Actually, I think it will still be seen as too risky for Yo because he's not going to be in Castle Age at the same time. But yeah, just kind of thinking this over a little bit because, like, I guess the defensive castle is going to be the play for Yo. Yo's thing is he full walls, he's good eco, and then he runs around your eco constantly with Latus, forcing you to react all the time while he has control over the game. Nice snipe there from Daniel. Scout's going to show up. These skirms aren't that valuable to Yo anymore, but they're going to take the deer. That's a good move. I like it. Those deer can't be eaten anymore. If a villager kills a deer with an arrow, you can eat it. If a skirm kills it with a what do you call this? A javelin? Yeah, then you can't eat it. That's just Age of Empires things. I like the amount of vision you have as Byzantines, and it's about to get a whole lot greater for Daniel. What I don't like is how he will not have a second TC. He may soon do that. It looks like he's now taking the stone for that. But it feels like immediately getting a second town center would have been really nice for him. And he's looking around now, see where he can do damage. And yeah, he actually buys the stone, so he also feels that urgency. I like opening with 2 knights, and then switching into camels in defense here with the Byzantines. I think that makes sense. And he's scouting around, seeing if he can find Yo at the moment. Yo's about to be up. Where will Yo drop that castle? Wherever he drops that castle, it will not be in a position to protect long-term gold, guys. He's almost out of gold here. He's going to drop it there. Oh my God, that is extremely risky. If Daniel's coming forward, and it's Daniel, so we know he will, that could be denied, Yo. Here come the units. Even just losing a couple villagers building this could really give Daniel a nice little lead. Again, the goal for any player promoted up to Platinum is get a win versus the big boys. You don't necessarily have to, win the series. Obviously, that'd be great. Get a win versus the big names. Look at Yo. This is nice in some ways, but it's so incredibly risky in others. How is he getting away with this? This monastery is delayed. This could be so much worse for him. In the end, the castle will probably go up. Great job from Daniel. I don't think Daniel will be too pleased with the fact he didn't kill more here. And the castle goes up, so he needs to leave. Or he could just sit underneath it, which is kind of funny. When he runs away, he'll get shot, though, so... There was going to be a monk out eventually, so he needs to leave. Okay, but in Daniel's mind, he should be thinking, my opponent's not over here then, right? If he looks here, he should know my opponent has expanded here and know that Yo's going to try and go over here. Yo also, he's overchopped there. Daniel doesn't seem to think that's an overchop. Yo sees it now. An opportunity for Daniel certainly to kill a bunch of villagers there. 2 TCs for the American. Lots of aggression here. Could be a third town center for him here shortly. And he's gonna do it over here. So his second and third TC in the same area. Yo is probably gonna counterattack with Latus and defend with monks. That's his thing. He's so good at that. Here he's gonna lose some fires. Obviously not that big a deal, but there are fish traps on that pond, so maybe it will be. Yo gets in nice and close to the knights before he starts the conversion. Daniel, yeah, okay. Daniel tried to be sneaky there. He tried to pull a knight that wasn't the one being converted to go kill the monk. And the second he saw Yo realize that, to switch the conversion, he just deleted. I respect it, though. I like the energy behind it. And he's going to get some kills here on the latest. This is not a bad fight. Well, okay. Overall, it's probably not too horrible. Your camels are pretty cheap. Yo, of course, gets a conversion. I'm sure Daniel's going to love that. And just classic Yo. Unique units. And monks. And now these latest are going to be running all around. Daniel, outposts are your friends. And obviously, you know, prepare for this in the flank. Bots have been loving Titans League, guys. Okay, bot. If you spam it 3 times, they know you're a bot. Come on, be a smarter bot. Alright? Be smart. I'm honestly disappointed. Might actually be a person. I don't know. Don't know if it's a bot. Anyways, Daniel has never scouted this region, so he's not going to expand over there. His monk doesn't get a conversion. I feel like that always happens when it's Yo involved. Yo gets the conversion, and soon after, he struggles. But, oh, Daniel. His opponent struggles, that is. Daniel finds some nice picks there, so he defends with the camels here. Yo doesn't have that many monks, guys. And Daniel's been able to see any raid that started to come in. Daniel's defended very nicely. Very impressed with Daniel. I'd say the main thing for him right now is he definitely needs to invest more wood into farms. And then he needs to scout the other side. He's going to head over there now. Honestly, go for a TC. You can't leave villagers exposed over here against Yo. Yo's going to try and find that. Personally, would love to see just another TC. He's going to go for another TC here, though. Whoa. Oh, man. What does Yo see? Yo, oh, he wants those relics. Daniel already has 2 of them. Yo kills the monk there. Here, Daniel taking an engagement against the latest. He won't kill this monk, though. Because it's a camel. Why do people send in 1 camel versus a monk in 2023? At the high level, it's frustrating. But this is all fine. The betrayal camel goes down. The monk goes down then as well. And Yo's scrambling. And Yo's like, I need pikemen now. I need to switch into something else. The latest have not done it for me. I don't have a single relic yet. Some sick play from Daniel here, guys. And we might see another game with Byzantines where cataphracts are involved. When I was casting with Dave yesterday, he seemed like he didn't feel like the cataphracts were good. I didn't want to like really, you know, disagree with him too much because he's a little bit sensitive sometimes. But cataphracts in this situation, when pikemen start to come out, camel cataphract combination could be pretty sick. It's not a Daniel thing to do. And Byzantines may choose to instead go for like pikes themselves. But just something to think about. This is going to be a monk bringing a relic home in a second. Speedy pikemen will definitely want those relics. The latest have ordered the pikemen to go over there to protect that relic because they want extra attack. I said it before that, you know, just leaving villagers exposed like this on this map against Yo is just asking for trouble. There we go. There's a pretty quick conversion for Daniel. And there goes his monk. Trying to get the relics away from Yo. And, well, and the waters at least kind of, you know, makes it awkward here. I think Daniel's thinking about Imperial Age. Daniel drops, what is that, TC number 5? I love it. And he must be missing a building or something to click up to the next stage. So he's going to instead drop a castle somewhere. And that castle's going to be there, which is close to the middle. Yo's not close to clicking up to Imp, guys. He's not that far, but he is still 500 food removed from that. 300 gold removed from that. Yo will get relic number 2. Daniel's on the way to the Imperial Age. Daniel has a greater economy. Daniel's collected more in the way of resources, but it's not significant. And this is Yo, one of the best late game unique unit style players we have. Daniel has not dropped barracks from what I can see. He just seems to want to continue to make camels, even against the pikes. But I mean, camels, that's a lot of camels. I think Yo is not expecting Daniel to still have this many camels. But I mean, maybe you go hand cannons? Do you drop archer ranges? You need something other than just cataphract, I think. As exciting as cataphract is, with only one castle, I could see this being concerning for Daniel. I think a lot of players in this position drop archer ranges and then go for chemistry so they can go hand cannons. Still obviously a big possibility for Daniel. Outposts are your friends right now, guys. Outposts are your friends. Outposts over here would be epic. There's a lot of space available. Yo, with 2 defensive castles at home, has clicked up. Daniel just going camel. But, you know, a couple cataphracts mixed in, a couple of your own monks. This could be good. Yo's going to shoot down the palisades. Thank you, Yo. Thank you so much. I swear, though, this area, I mean, if that TC wasn't there, Yo would have just picked it apart. Yo knows he can't go to the other areas. He doesn't know there's been a TC here. And you can tell what Daniel wants to do. He wants this earlier Imperial Age to carry him through this game. Daniel's bringing a ton of vills over here to build this castle so we can have a castle next to his trebuchets. Yo, he showed up. Daniel reacted and then ejected the villagers. But Daniel's got camels headed over there. Yo will have to run away. First thing Daniel does is a trebuchet. Yo's still 2 minutes away from the Imperial Age. This is a player who was promoted from gold, guys. We've seen players who are promoted from gold get flattened this far in TTL. It has not been good. For some of them, Yo played Licks, one of them, in the first round and 3-0'd him. He owned the guy. Daniel's a different breed. And Daniel, I think, has just been getting better and better and better. His strategy is way more diverse than it was in, like, maybe last year. His micro has always been insane. He backs away there. That's still fine. That's a desperation demo from Yo. And the Treb push will begin here for Daniel. Now, Daniel didn't click chemistry. He didn't click heavy camel. You know, he doesn't really benefit from Imp. That camel's still going to get converted. Okay. He doesn't really benefit from Imp too much beyond the Trebs. But the Trebs are obviously huge. And I thought there was another Treb here. Okay, there will be more Trebs, and yeah, that's probably going to be a castle down for Yo. But Yo's not finished. Yo's got ridiculous eco. He's got very little long-term gold control, but he's got ridiculous eco. So, obviously, very little long-term gold. What are you going to make? You're going to make more pikes. Like, this gold is kind of available, and then it's this gold. That's it. And then, obviously, the 2 relics, which you might not have once you start to lose this castle. So, Yo clicks how, but I think for Daniel, you've kind of done everything you need to win this game from here. You just have to make sure that you don't try and... Okay, well, you have 2 extremes. You force the issue immediately, all the time, or you just expand with more defensive castles. Like, for example, over here, obviously, Yo's going to sneak over here, take some of that. Daniel has to back away. I don't love this situation, but he's actually got the numbers. The cataphracts are here. And Daniel's Trebs could continue to move around, taking down all these buildings, taking all this space away from Yo. It's pretty ridiculous to build a castle right underneath Trebs, but he made it happen here. And Daniel is making hand cannons. Yo won't be able to make too many more Trebs because he's not going to have the gold. And Daniel's just going to take this gold while he's at it. Now, Daniel's hand cannons are being produced over here. And he needs more camels at home because the latest have shown up. And there's going to be Trebs from Yo and Halves from Yo. So this area of the base for Daniel is a big problem. But this is obviously a big problem for Yo. So it feels like hand cannons and camels need to go home, but hand cannons and camels also need to continue to push Yo, because if you give Yo time, then this might get more awkward for you in the long run if you're Daniel. Again, though, does feel like Daniel has the greater control over gold, certainly. Like, this TC is the only gold now for Yo. I guess, yeah, he's finishing that gold there. And Yo has villagers that will pop out of this TC and that will die here. These barracks are kind of out of position. Yeah, this army needs to accomplish something for Yo. It needs to accomplish something quick. Only seeing one archer range at home, though, for Daniel. So he actually has 3 ranges. 2 of them are forward. He's actually just going to escape, try and keep these villagers alive with the TC in the north. Here's the thing, though. Like, Yo has this tendency to still stay alive in these types of situations. He's getting elite Latus. He's only got 5 Latus. But he's still got 30 plus halbs. I'm still not seeing the hand cannon number that would get me excited about Daniel's position. Latus, now that are elite, are going to find villagers here. That'll be quite a few Vil kills. Actually helps Daniel. He's over booming. So this is actually... He's going to emotionally not like this. But realistically, I think that helps him. And Daniel needs to still address this. It seems like he's giving up his main base, guys. This is basically a base race, a base trade. I could see Daniel struggling a little bit with the trying to balance a push and everything combined here. But he is going to take this treb. Might even still be able to take this treb. And if he takes that treb next, Daniel will be loving life. But he does take the fight against halbs because he's distracted. He pulls away. Here he garrisons. Hand cannons are chasing down the halbs. Good job from Yo. Here Yo has lost his relics now. And he's losing his barracks too. So Yo's got to make more of those. Treb down. Yo has 0 trebs. Yo has no real way to push now. Yo's population's going to plummet then. And Daniel's eco is pretty expansive over here. Say what you want about it. It got messy. I think even the hand cannons can kill the Latus because there's not too many of them. Hand cannons still do a lot of damage output. And they're not a unit that relies on armor, and the Latus ignore armor, so... Oh, suddenly, Yo sweeping in with more Latus to try and take Daniel's trebs. Daniel notices, though. His monks go for conversions and gets 2, which is really nice. And I think Daniel will be okay with this. As long as he saves his trebs, he'll be happy. What a game, though. Both players that are 160 pop. But like, Yo is 1 gold. Daniel's got 1k gold in the bank. Daniel's got gold everywhere. Daniel has control of the relics. I think right now, if you have the gold, I would like to see Daniel buy the stone and drop a castle here. Like, protect this. Then you have a line of castles across the map. Yo can't... He's not in the south anymore. Daniel's actually going to steal his freaking farms, guys. He's going to farm on Yo's farms, which is pretty epic. It's not a flex. It actually makes sense. Just place a mill next to enemy farms and boom, you've got them. They're yours now. So there you go, Daniel. And yeah, like, there's also lots of gold in the middle here, right? So you could maybe castle there. I do feel like that's your final castle you place. The next castle protects this area because you're exposed. Oh, TC Foundation needs to be deleted. Or you could do this. This is a kill Yo type of castle, and Daniel's ready to do it. God, what an important victory to beat Yo. So many players are going to struggle to beat Yo. Daniel needs this. This is why I was confident in Daniel to get a win today. And a little disappointed in game 1, too, because he didn't give himself the best chances. So many players just respect Yo and build the castle I mentioned, that defensive one. Obviously, Daniel's going to have respect for Yo here. Don't get me wrong. But he also is continuing to raid. These cataphracts are finding villager kills. And now it's all about army comps. Let's see. Both players are going to fight here. Daniel has to, because otherwise this castle could be denied. Yo has to, otherwise he'll lose this castle, which is currently researching hoardings. That's a lot of helps. I'm not seeing a big, massive hand cannons. I think most of the units for Daniel will die here. But Daniel will take the castle, and Daniel will complete his own castle. This does give Daniel time to mass more army. And obviously, once he garrisons with the villagers, if he garrisons with the villagers, I mean, the castle's going to get kills anyways, but Daniel could garrison in this position. Daniel, he's also killing villagers from Yo over here. So both players are losing lots of villagers at the exact same time. Yo takes all the trebs, though. And we need to see a little bit more army right now from Daniel. Man, Latus are insane. Halbs are insane. Obviously, Yo's just noticed this. I think Yo felt really good about this until he realized he lost to his villagers at the same time. What's it going to be? Skirms? Skirms can be great. Daniel honestly just needs production. He has a few more production buildings. He needs production and he needs some upgrades. It's insane that Yo just has a corner of this map and is still in this game, guys. A corner of the map. Daniel's got vision everywhere else. Well, I guess maybe up here. This isn't, you know, exactly Daniel. I don't know if this is his corner per se. Let's just say 2.5 corners for Daniel. It's just been really good fights for Yo. And he hasn't lost as much eco. And he does not hesitate. Remember I talked about a castle here and how helpful it would be? If you had a castle there with ballistics, it could really help. But that has not been Daniel's approach. And this castle is going to go down. I think Daniel is going to lose this game. He doesn't have enough out there to counter the Halbs. And this castle, I do not think it gives you what you need right now, which is a bit of protection, which feels crazy to say. That TC will go down. Yo finds a little bit more gold. There's still all this gold over here for Daniel. Stone available for Daniel. He's still mining. Tons of on food. Can Daniel stabilize this, guys? I would have loved to have seen Halbs from Daniel as well. Yo's going for a dock in the middle. I mean, there's still gold here, right? Dock is interesting. I wonder what he's planning on making there. Maybe a cannon galleon? It's just going to be demos for now. The starting TC for Daniel is going to go down. Daniel is... He's making vills. He's not making army. I'm not seeing skirms in queue. I'm not seeing upgrades. It's like he's trying to just make camels. He's completely dropped off. Is his control group screwed up here? He should be making skirms at least. I think Yo's definitely got to him. Daniel's under a lot of pressure right now. Crazy stuff. Like, this is just such a Mr. Yo victory. To somehow get raids in an area where you have so little control. Get raids in here. Be back on this gold. Now have Trebs prepared for this position. He's got full control over this game. Daniel's going to unravel here. And Daniel knows it, and he calls the GG. What a ridiculous comeback from Yo. For Daniel, he's going to be kicking himself, though, when he rewatches this. I really think he could have had this game. Again, like, some of the things I said on castle positions, kind of interesting. I don't actually think that this type of castle, I don't think they're bad against Yo. Because you know that Yo is one of the best late game players. So it's just forcing the issue, pushing all the time. That's not bad. I think where it hurt Daniel is that he never had the big ball of hand cannons. I never saw him over 15. And for a guy who had that much gold income, it really feels like that was maybe because he had to split them up so frequently due to Yo's rates. So credit to Yo there. But I think Daniel, he needed more hand cannons. And also, we're talking Byzantines here. I think you just go for your own Halbs. Match your opponent's Halbs. Go Halb. Halb hand cannon? I mean, skirms could be a little exposed, but you got skirms with camels. Like, I think Daniel was really hesitant to make his own trash units, and you could see the issue, guys. Like, there was a point right about here. Okay, so I'm calling for hand cannons, right? He's trying to push here, and as a player, right, you're like push, 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 push. Then you start to get raided, okay? So you've gone forward archer ranges because you want to push. Then you need defensive hand cannons. He's got one range. That's from earlier. So when you go forward and you make forward production and then someone starts to raid you because you're exposed, this is where things become the problem. So if anything, a lot of players, what they do is they make the production like in the middle. Send units here, send units here. Yo gave up a lot of his base. Unbelievable win from him. Frustrating loss for Daniel. And again, there's res collected. I do not know how Yo does it. But a bit of stubbornness from Daniel. Maybe not wanting to switch. But again, it's a thought process of I need to kill him quickly. Switching takes time. That probably was Daniel's downside there. There's the downfall. The res collected. It looked to me like Daniel could have had that one. So now we go to Yo's home map. If Daniel gets swept here, still obviously had won his first rounds, but that's 3 points that were available that will have been denied. So let's see if Daniel can recover. All right, so in a frustrating loss for Daniel, game number 2, he was really close to winning that. We could have seen so many different switches there in that game to maybe win. I think some blacksmith upgrades are missing. I think military productions are missing. I just think Yo's a beast at staying alive, though. Yo is the best late game player, or one of the best late game players for a reason. He can do what he just did to anyone in the world. Daniel's gone for the Dravidians, and I've really liked the builds with Dravidians, and I know Daniel is very well practiced here. And having spoken to Daniel, he felt like he could beat Yo. Could have easily won game number 2. I bet you Daniel's confident here on migration. This is Yo's home map. Now, guys, here's the thing. Yo is a strat, and Yo does not deviate from his strategies much. And Yo likes to go forward dock with Italians. So he likes to go fast castle. He'll bring the villagers in and go forward dock to kill the opponent's fish. I think it's at a point now where it's too predictable. It's too predictable, and I think Daniel is going to have a build order where he goes for scouts, and he denies that here. Because that build's been going around as well, and it's extremely strong with the Dravidians. That's just my prediction right now. Excited to see how it pans out. Like, even Lix, Daniel's teammate, Yo's teammate, he went forward dock with Italians, but he did it in a kind of a rough manner. I don't think he did it properly. I talked about that in that series, but it was the second set for Lix against running. So, cheaper dock techs, cheaper to go up to the next age, cheaper fishing ships. All those things make Italians one of the best here. The norm right now seems to be fast castle off of 2 docks. So it'll be 2, potentially 3 docks at home from Yo into ships, obviously. Eventually transport, and then I think the big thing is, will Yo walk across the map and build a forward dock? That is Yo's thing. Yo is the one who started that. I've seen him do it with so many different civs, and it is more common now from other players. But that is, if there's ever a water strategy you associate with Yo, it would be here. Or it would be that strategy, rather. Dravidians, plus 200 wood when you get to the next stage, which doesn't seem like a lot, but when you're going fast castle, it's huge, because it's a plus 400 wood advantage over your opponent rather early. But then also you save some wood because your docks count as a house. So that there's some flexibility there. Your fishing ships also do they do carry more, which can be somewhat helpful on this map. But the reason everyone isn't going scouts, I think, well, first off, I think some people still think you can just go monks blindly on this map and be fine. But it's also because of the wood investment. Because you're going for so many docks, you're going for so many ships, right? That's wood. Wood. Transport ship, wood. So much. And so the problem is, if you want to go for scouts, you have to go barracks, which is 175 wood, and the stable, and then if you want like the market and the blacksmith, you add either. So essentially, that's like 200 more wood that you would need, and that's before you even factor in needing the scouts themselves and microing all that. So the Dravidians, they have enough wood, if the build is executed properly, where they can go double dock fish boom into a fast castle, into the scouts. And it was Leary who did it against Tato yesterday in the same matchup, and I was like, holy crap, this is good. Like, it's getting better. Like, Leary, I think, had the perfect balance of it, in all honesty. At least for the opening. And that's what Tato had tried. Tato tried to go forward fills. So, you might be like, okay, T90, well, clearly, it's too obvious then, right? Like, Yo's not going to do it. Maybe? Maybe he won't. So, I think if he doesn't do it, it will just be Yo competing on water. In which case, it could be really, really close. So, I actually do think the correct play for Yo here is to just play water. But it's like, then again, it's like, how do you get to the mainland? It's a surefire way right now with the Dravidians on migration, where you will have a lead. If you try and compete with adding extra military buildings, like maybe you go barracks and spears, it's just awkward with any other civ, I think. So I think Yo is, I mean, it's one of two extremes. He either does the silly thing and he just tries what he started on migration and is comfortable with the migration. Tries to get the villagers there quickly. Or, you know, maybe he switches it up. T90, would you pin, please, the stats website? It's hard to Google. Someone could maybe link it. I think someone in chat should have it. If not, I can do it afterwards. I won't pin it because I'm actually going offline after this set because Series 2 is canceled. or postponed because someone else is sick. There will be a third set today, but it'll be coming back later on in the day. The start time for that is just under 3 hours. So, okay, I'm also assuming that Daniel knows how strong the build is I talked about. And I'm not sure if Daniel believes in the build as much as I do. FYI. He's going to go 3 docks here. You would normally see the barracks coming up shortly if this is the build that I think is going to dominate. Daniel hasn't gone for a mill yet. So, in order to make a market, you need to have a mill. He's got too much wood. There's the barracks there. Okay. All right, so there's the barracks. Will he also mill? Oh, this is going to be so sick. I think you go mill and stable. I understand building a blacksmith if you're thinking of making military units in most cases in this game, but when it comes to light cav versus monks and villagers, you don't really need upgrades. I think the market's better for flexibility. All right, so Daniel's going to make his stable. Yo's also dropping a barracks. Notice, though, how Yo doesn't have the wood for the blacksmith? There's the stable. There's the blacksmith. We also have fires. See what Daniel's able to spend? He's got fires on the way already, and he has his buildings faster. This is why I think Dravidians are best in migration right now. I think we will actually see Dravidians be banned in migration come week, like, 4. Or come the playoffs, I think people are going to ban them. There's the villagers from Yo. No loom. Yo, what are you doing? Yo didn't know about it. Oh, God, this is disastrous for Yo. He's adding spears. He's adding spears trying to go forward dock. I don't want to say I called it, but I freaking called it. It's Mr. Yo. Oh, God, Yo wants to keep that villager alive so badly. We'll see if he's able to. Daniel's going to make some scouts. Daniel's going to make some spearmen. That villager's got to be quick-walled in here. And a lot of work for Yo right now, and he's not making ships. This is Daniel's game. If Daniel sends his ships out across the map, Daniel's going to be in a great spot. This is so well executed from him. The spears are really nice touch, though. Like, obviously, had Yo just tried to waltz across without having buildings, would have been hugely problematic for him here. Still could be problematic, though. And Daniel's microed so well with just his builds here. I was going to say I think he might consider a tower in some cases, but I don't. Well, let's see if it's worth it. And Navy from Daniel could be on the way. It is now on the way. Gives time for Yo to make Navy. And now the villager's going to run. But a villager did finish the dock, which is kind of the frustrating thing for Daniel. Or not the dock, the stable. And villager's going to die. Okay, so we have no mainland control whatsoever for Yo. Tower from Daniel will still be helpful because it's next to the barracks. We'll have scouts on the mainland to stop any more villagers that may come across. There's a scout there from... it's kind of funny. Scout there from Yo, hoping to kill the Vill. I would wall in the stable, but you have to look at other things too. And he goes for a siege workshop. Look at his wood. Look at his navy count. Look at the war galley upgrade. Look at the fishing ships exposed right now for Yo. I think Yo's just going for the predictable strat because he's up 2-0. He hasn't lost a game in TTL, and he's Yo. He's a god. Like, what god's not going to have faith in himself, you know? Yo actually notoriously underrates himself. At least in my mind. I think he's always underrating himself. And Yo's over here with the TC. What? Whoa. So Daniel's not going to expect that. Yo was able to get another little transport going. Whoa. I didn't realize that. So, okay. Fishing ships haven't gone down yet for Yo. He's going to have Navy in defense. Funnily enough, once Daniel... Oh, God, Daniel, don't... No. How does Yo do it? Yo is such a little pest, but Daniel, you did all the hard work. All the hard work. Just got to keep your villagers alive. And had he walled in that stable, maybe it could have been better for him. He still doesn't know that Yo is over here. I think Yo can come back. Yo will have the TC on land. Yo hasn't lost many fishing ships yet. Yo still got decent navy. It reminds me of the previous game already. Obviously, a nice little military advantage right now, though, for Yo. For Daniel, sorry. But he has to play the transport game again. And Yo's going to go for a forward dock. And, oh god, that fire is dangerously close to the transport. Transport, just don't move. Do not move a muscle, transport ship. Oh god. Well, he's moving. And Daniel, and now Yo's moving away, so his opponent can't see the docks. You see this? Also adding another stable because that one has gone down. TC still not completed for Daniel. I think Daniel realizes he's losing a little bit of control over this game right now. Be really curious to see how he handles these decisions. There he goes with his vills. Transport ship spots the docks. You do have a lot of fires around at home, though. So I guess you've got to use them now. And TC2 will be up for Daniel. But Res Collected's got to be close. Yeah, Yo's still in it. It's the opening from Dravidians that I think is borderline unbeatable if things go as planned. Say the only thing that didn't go as planned for Daniel was just losing his villagers. And, well, no, that's not true. He killed the initial vills, but there wasn't a ton out there to stop these villagers. Yo just did a great job to sneak. And Yo's going to be a real pain with this, guys. There's fishing ships around, still getting sniped by Yo. There's so much navy. Guys, it's 10 navy for Daniel. It's 5 for Yo. Yo is getting by with lesser units on water. And he's 8 to 3 eco KD. This is just Yo being sneaky. Finding those right positions. And we're going to see the pikeman upgrade here from Daniel. Another exciting thing about the Dravidians. Cheaper barrack technologies. There, he's got some spearmen on the field. So I could see that being a nice little upgrade. Overall, actually a pretty good fight for Daniel here to kill the knights. They're both distracted. And they're distracted on water. Here, Daniel went for a forward dock as well. So we've got a lot of stuff happening. Can Daniel get this win? It would be a disappointing 3-0 if Daniel loses this 3-0. Could have won game 2. And certainly could, maybe should win this game right now. Noticing that Yo is farming. So on the back of fishing ships, he's doing that. He's got more fishing ships too. So what that tells me is if there is ever an Imperial Age race, advantage Yo in that regard. And Daniel wants this to be about lands now. Daniel wants to go siege, and he wants to go pikes to pressure this TC. Daniel needs to farm, and I think he's thinking about it because he just got horse color. Now, Yo at home is on stone, so you could eventually think about a castle. But Yo's fishing ships could all be sniped if Daniel continues through here. This is a big moment for Daniel. He could kill 7 fish. Meanwhile, trying to defend himself, and Yo's trying to convert ships. Yo's little position here. You can tell why he wants it every time he plays this map. It's so tough. And he's just going to boldly send a knight forward. Try and kill the siege here. Doesn't work out. And Daniel does find the fishing kills. Daniel with a 20 population lead. He drops TC number 3. And that's TC number 2 on the mainland. Yo can't realistically expand right now. Yo's still trying to convert ships here. But Daniel's fish are over on the other side. And Daniel's transitioning into farms. So having killed all of Yo's fish, I think for Daniel, as long as he just thinks about farms, he should be okay. Really nice demo there from Daniel, which could lead to winning this little battle because Yo's distracted and Daniel with the repairs as well. How does he do it? How does the man do it? That was sick. Yo's going to make some siege here. Guys, this is what's impressive. In the previous game, Daniel was hyper fixated on a push. And I thought that's what would happen here. And that Yo would be able to, like, you know, slowly win water. That Yo wouldn't lose his own fish and things like that. But here, as we see the demo kill the monk, Daniel has done a great job to not be hyper fixated on the land push. And he's gotten good trades here overall against Yo. He's not going to complain too much. Like, sure, that happens, but now we see even another TC. That's a lot. What the? Daniel? Huh? He's gonna transport his siege pike push to the other side. Ah! Ah! Okay, thank God he made it. Yo wasn't expecting this. Daniel's brought the pikes. He's brought a villager, and he's brought the siege. And honestly, this is epic. This is epic, because Yo can't take these golds now. Yo thought he was safe here. This is the only area Yo thought he was safe. What's kind of interesting now is, where does Yo build his castle? Because normally Yo would want to build the castle land, but now he may feel like he needs it on water. Meanwhile, fires. I mean, this is an amazing game from Daniel. Daniel's playing so good. But Yo just has this tendency to somehow stay alive in these types of games. And, I mean, Daniel's just so smart, man. He expects it's going to be monk defense from Yo, so he's adding a stable to make light cav. This is so sick. And also, a couple light cav could be needed here. I would like to see outposts here. Yo will probably be bold with his castle now on land. I could see Yo realizing he's going to lose this game. Just like bringing a bunch of vills and trying to castle here or something. All right, so light cav's out. He saw the monastery. The siege has to be pulled back. Monks can go into the TC, though, so Daniel actually deletes that Mangano, which is a smart delete. I think just denying the golds for now is enough. And Daniel should be able to use anything here to kill that monk. And he does, because Yo's distracted. And now the siege push can continue. Yo dropping another TC. But guys, Yo's eco count struggling here. And I'm been really impressed with Daniel, and I'm also really excited to see how people deal with this Dravidian build in the future. And we saw the progression of it in gold, actually, where players realized, holy crap, I need to try that too. It was kind of fun to see that. Even just the scout build in general, because we saw a scout build with the melee. Light cav almost kills the monk. But usually you want to utilize the cheaper Imperial Age. And you would have had to have utilized that already. Not so easy right now for Yo to really think about the Imperial Age. And his castle, like, what does a castle do for him when he's so far behind economically? The castle would be good if he can drop it on Daniel's face here. So Daniel just has to make sure that he doesn't get too... that he doesn't miss out on this area. Which I think he's kind of been working on because he's made the outposts. And he's going to make ranges. I think Imp now, once you have this economy, is what Daniel's mind should be on. And Light Cav sees the monk. Light Cav will be able to kill that monk. Other monk might actually convert this, though. So yeah, Daniel backs away. And you see a castle. You should think idle TCs, stop spending food, drop your own castle, and then win the Trebor. And that's precisely what Daniel's doing. This is clinical stuff. Yep. It's almost like he needed the reminder. Because I think maybe he was debating doing something fancy here in castle. Just needed the reminder, I've got to go in. I would say delete that stable. You're not going to need it anymore. The only stable you need is over here, Daniel. This has done so much, guys. Like, imagine how awkward it is to move around right now if you're Yo. I love how the fire here has helped against multiple spears. It's just like every little detail is added up so nicely. And you don't need to push here anymore. You just exist here. It's a threat that your opponent will have to deal with. You can see Yo's like maybe he gave up on it. And nope, he didn't, Yo. You need to back away. Meanwhile here, Yo still hasn't clicked up. Daniel's adding ranges to go for archers. Doesn't have too many upgrades on him, but I think the Trebs will still be the biggest deal breaker anyways. Daniel's had an amazing series, amazing game here from him. Guys, like, Daniel, I think he could easily go playoffs in this group. That has Doubt, Yo. I think he could, like, do you think Daniel in this shape could beat Doubt? I think if he almost beats Yo in game 2, and then, you know, wins this game here, Obviously, he didn't win game 2, and I think it's an important thing to remember, because doubt has a tendency of staying alive as well. But Daniel's a menace right now. Yo still has not clicked up to the Imperial Age, and I'm sure Yo knew the second he saw this castle that he's doomed. And Daniel even going to make a range here, as he thinks, upgrade check. Upgrade check. Yeah, Doubt has been playing amazing recently. In Doubt's series against Running, which is the only one we've seen from him yet, he did not look like he was invincible, though. Like, he could have lost 2 of his games against Running, and I think Running was going to be frustrated that he got 3-0'd there. But, I mean, that's what Platinum's about, right? Everyone's good enough to take games off of everyone. It's like, can you do everything right against the biggest names? And I think that's still, you know, a situation that Daniel finds himself in far too frequently, possibly. But not here. Like, this is really good game. I was worried once Yo did typical Yo stuff and snuck another TC and killed the other Vills, building Daniel's TC. It felt like maybe Daniel had allowed Yo back into the game, and he certainly did. But Yo's now had to make a castle to protect his starting island. And I don't think, Daniel, you really have to worry too much about this anymore. I think you could be really happy with what you've accomplished with these buildings. Even give them to Yo. What's Yo going to do with it? There's Trebs here already for Daniel, as he's now on Arbalest. Yo doesn't have a single freaking blacksmith upgrade. So I don't know what unit he's going to be able to make that can deal with Arbalest right now. What it would have to be Siege, which currently is done all right. Or it'd have to be full water again, I think. And Daniel sees the stone walls, knows that Yo is desperate, knows that he will likely take out that castle there from Yo. Knowing Daniel, he's still gonna like micro this stuff, but at this point, I think you just use your speed, use your focus, and just push the middle. And once you know that you've taken the middle, then you go back on water, and maybe we go for Theresidae. I don't think he'll ever make one, because I don't even know if Daniel knows it exists. But the unique ship from the Dravidians, you're coming back on water in the Imperial Age. You can only make them in the Imperial Age. Maybe that's the way to go. I think because you can only make them in Imp is kind of the reason we don't really see them that much. Yep, Daniel's still microing here. He walled in his Vil. Like, you're such a nerd, dude. Settle down, okay? Settle. Well played. I appreciate it. But at the same time, it's stressing me out. How can one player focus on so many things? A couple fast fires over here from Daniel. Obviously, the safer play. He'll kill all the fishing ships that Yo had added behind this. And right now, it seems like Yo's plan to defend from this is bombard cannons. But he's going to need a new siege workshop. Obviously, Stonewall's helped a lot there. And Daniel just needs to take out these TCs, take down the wall, send that army in. Yo's still struggling here. Yo's got tons of res. Tons of res, but he just can't spend it. He's losing production buildings everywhere. What Daniel could really do is send, like, your arbs here. I guess Yo's making skirms at home right now, but... Yep, another upgrade check here from Daniel. Just making sure he's not missing anything in the blacksmith or eco-wise. Easy to make these decisions when you are already ahead, of course, right? I think he struggled with some upgrades in the previous game, which could have been part of why he fell off a little bit. And there he's now through. Yo behind this has 3 skirms, and he's got 1 bomber cannon. But Daniel can't walk through because the Treb is blocking, so that's a little awkward. Make way! And Daniel's also going to make his own skirms because Dravidian skirms are actually superior. And I think Daniel has felt like he's so far ahead for so long that he's just going to dive in here. He just rolls right through, says, hello, Yo. Nice home map, bro. And Yo is... It's Yo. He doesn't want to call it yet. Almost can't believe his eyes. He's got to watch Daniel grow as a player. They know each other very well. They play a lot of team games together. Daniel's pretty tight with the Asian community, so I'm sure Yo's like, oh, no, I've taught him too much. What have I done? There's a monk somewhere trying to convert the bombard cannon. Oh, it's over there on the right. And okay, bombard cannon converted. Bombard cannon will go down, though. And Daniel's going to drop another castle. And Yo's bombard cannon's also going to go down. I question what Yo sees in these moments. As we've aged, I've noticed that Yo, he plays on for way longer than he ever did in the past. And he was always known for playing on for a long time. But like, well, he's probably like, I've got stone, I've got wood, I've got gold, I'm Italians. He's probably like, I have everything I need. Medical corpse. Wait, so that... Did he get the wrong unique tech? What's that one do again? Medical core, I guess. That's, isn't that like a attack speed or healing on... Oh, God, I forget. We never see it. What's that do again? I think he was maybe going to get Woot Steel, which would add... I mean, his units, his infantry ignores armor, but he doesn't have infantry. It's elephant regen. Okay, well, I think Daniel's just going to try and complete all the techs at this point. This is where you need to make a 3 Sedai for the people. Yo is... Like I said, it's gotten to a point where it's extreme. Some people don't like it. Some people... I've had players, I will not say their names, say that they feel disrespected when Yo does this. But I think Yo's just... He's the never say die attitude. He's a great comeback player, so he's just... His thing is, I'm never gonna quit until I know I'm 100% dead. I think you could easily question how does one not know it here, but it is what it is. He's still got Trebs to push back. He's actively trying, right? It's not as if he's, you know, not trying to do something here. Would be a great spot for Yurumi Swordsman for Daniel because he's got so many castles here. He's just trebbing down the Trebs from Yo and using villagers to take out that monastery where Yo has 2 relics. Maybe Daniel wants to go elephants, but I think he's probably just completing upgrades for the sake of it at this point. And guys, this is a huge win for Daniel. I mean, imagine how big it would have been had he beaten Yo 2-1 though. Like, normally I'd say a promoted player who comes up shouldn't be disappointed with snagging a win versus Yo. But I think when you're so close to victory in game number 2, when you know it was possible, you might still have that disappointment. Yo's been at 100 pop for a while, but he's building a castle here. Yo's not finished. Yo's not finished. Well, Daniel's going to completely clear him out on this side. So there's that. And Daniel's going to have the relics. Does Daniel see this? Yeah, Daniel's going to find out because villagers are going to die. Mass evacuation for Yo. There's Woot Steel. So I really think that Daniel has played this fine. He would have never felt like infantry was ever needed here. There's nothing I can really critique Daniel for. At the end of the day, he's been fully pop-capped for a long time. Maybe she could have gone for siege elephants, in all honesty. Yo's going to make buildings here. But you could still just say make more bomber cannons. But obviously a little risky if Yo... Like, look at Yo. Like, he even was trying to convert the bomber cannon there. Yo's feisty, dude. It's like, I ain't dead yet. Still have my castle. Still have my Trebs firing. There's a castle. This is a castle Daniel will see, of course. Daniel will immediately make a Treb and starts to Treb all that down. Daniel is going to add battle elephants with the Dravidians. Okay. I mean, if Daniel throws this game, I will lose my mind. If Yo can hold... Again, it would be just the crazy hold from Yo. No one else would have held on in any league, like silver, gold, plat, there wouldn't be a single player that was still played on here. No way. This is purely a Yo thing. But still, Daniel has the greater gold control. He's got the greater food, the greater wood. He's got more production buildings. He's got the bombard cannons, and he's just being extremely patient so he could smash Yo and finally claim the victory. And this is kind of what we've been missing from Daniel. Yo can't repair castles for as long because he doesn't have the stone income. He does have a bombard cannon over here. And Daniel happy to lose some units here if it means that he can take out this castle. But then again, backs away. Choke point's a little awkward. He's also micring on both sides. How about a unique tech where Trebs fire multiple projectiles? Please don't give the devs any ideas on that one. Let's save that for a mod or something. I get scared when people say stuff like that. Yo converts the bomber cannon. Freaking Yo. And Yo finally GG's. Yo has 125 pop, which is like 20 more than he had for the last 15 minutes, and now he GG's. But I think he knows. I mean, he knows what maybe he should have known. That he's not going to be able to do it without land control here. A great game from Daniel. Again, potentially bittersweet for him. Because I think he could have won this series 2-1. Yo wins 2-1, though. The consistency of Yo still gets the job done today. Yo is... I still think like Yo and Doubt, the two favorites to win the group. But guys, Group A is pretty insane. And keep an eye on Daniel. Because now Daniel has 3 wins out of 6 rounds. Which is not bad at all. And he's played Yo and he's played Valis. So he's not played the quote-unquote easier player yet, which Yo had, which is Lix. Strategically, though, I think this is perfect. And again, I think we are going to see bans on Dravidians a lot more. Maybe not over this week or next week, but the tail end of group stage when games get really, really important. And also in the playoffs. Specifically on migration. I think it is possibly the best migration civ right now. I think Japanese probably are the best matchup for them. Because Japanese also have lots of wood savings and flexibility. But still, I think I might even prefer to have Dravidians. Quick look at the res collected. 75,000 res collected from Daniel. More of every resource there. And then 58k from Yo. Obviously, Yo struggling there for a little bit. KD, all Daniel as well. A good little series here in Group A. Let's actually look at the group real quick just to kind of sum up where we are right now. I'm going to be doing this more and more because now there's been more sets played, but we are still pretty early. Can you re-explain why Dravidians are so good here? It was like a 4-minute explanation. I would go back and watch it if you're really, really interested in the in-depth breakdown. But basically, it's the extra wood. It's the extra wood savings, which allows them to do more early. But yeah, this is what the group looks like in Group A, right? So that was the second round for Yo, and that was the second round for Daniel. So this will update. Yo will go up to 5 wins. Daniel will go up to 3. But I think that's a respectable situation to be at. And right now, it does seem like Lix is struggling the most. Will be interesting, though, because after 2 rounds, Running and Daniel will then be tied. Eventually, Running and Daniel have to play each other. Doubt's next round is up against Valis, who is the player that Daniel beat 2-1. But I think Valis, in Season 2, I think that he actually beat Doubt. Watch this. Ready? T90 Brains. Doubt Valis. End of that season. Doubt Valis. Doubt Valis. 2-1 to Valis. Was on closed maps, which I think benefited Valis, but you know, there's no guaranteed victories here in TTL, so I'm excited to see that series when it comes around. But Yo, top of Group A, Daniel solidly in the middle with a lot of time to prove himself.